Hi, everyone. I wanted to create this short video as we are moving through the second discussion board in MHA626. So it's Wednesday, August the 3rd right now. I want to thank everyone that has responded, engaged in the discussion board having to do with consent, the COVID vaccine, and the article that really stimulated this discussion written earlier this year about advocating for adolescents 12 to age 17 to be able to make these decisions without parental consent or dissent. I'd actually like to continue this discussion for a few more days until I'm looking at my calendar here, Sunday, August 7th. Why Sunday? Because I have a second part that I'd like each of you to engage in. Let's take it to the end of the day, Sunday. First of all, as many of you pointed out, this is controversial, right? It's controversial, but it's also absolutely unavoidable. Unavoidable within this context of healthcare and leadership. Certainly, I think we've all been placed in a position, maybe some more than others, where you've had maybe personal disagreements with family or friends, maybe even at the workplace. But I say that it's unavoidable, which is why I brought it up, not to cause anyone stress. The stress comes naturally. But for those who are in leadership positions, or actually, you even have to be in leadership position. If you're connected to the healthcare field in any capacity, it's unavoidable. The idea of, certainly in the last year and a bit, about COVID vaccines. And that's because there might be a conflict, right? A conflict between notions of professionalism, which we talked about in the first week of class, and personal values. Now, this has to do with adolescents making decisions on their own. This decision, in particular, understanding the wider impact of not just the health of the adolescent, but also perhaps their community, their bubbles. It's also a test, an example of leadership. It really is. So I point this out, and part of the reason I applaud each of you for, your contributions, but I want to take it, I want to go further, is because most of you, if not all of you, offered a personal opinion, right? And many of you said, well, when I was 12 or 13 or 15, I'm not sure I could make the decision, or I could make the decision. I think that's okay, but I'm going to invite you to, let's go a step further, because it is really not, it's not about us, right? It's not even about if you have an adolescent in your life in any capacity. It's not even about them. It's sort of the wider macro example. So what I'd like to do is this. There is another very short article that you have access to. It's a story from the Washington Post, March of this past year, a few months ago. The District of Columbia in 2020, before the COVID vaccine was authorized, passed the Minor Consent to Vaccination Amendment Act, which allows children as young as 11 to get vaccines without their parents' knowledge if a doctor determines that they are capable of informed consent. You see the last part, if a physician determines they are capable of informed consent. This article actually is about how a judge barred that and lawsuits came into play. I'm not as interested in the legal part of it. I'm interested in noting that I think all of you know that certain districts, certain areas, San Francisco, District of Columbia, certain regional localities, they can make their own rule. So the citizens of those areas, District of Columbia, San Francisco, allows kids as young as a certain age. Now, 11 is younger than I thought. We were talking 12 to 17, but this is 11, to get vaccines without their parents' knowledge. Now, I want to move away from the idea of without their parents' knowledge. I want to really focus on if a physician determines that they are capable of informed consent, understanding it. Now, I think the article and the discussion pointed out a few facts. Where do they get their information from? Is it peer pressure from their friends in either direction? Are they getting their knowledge through TikTok? Well, the answer is yes, to all of those things. We know that. Might they still be able to make a specific decision about getting a vaccine, a COVID vaccine, even if they're in disagreement? What I'm going to ask you to do between now and Sunday, I should probably actually get to that, is, and I'll put this in the in my discussion board posting, is maybe reflect on your first response, and also the idea. So let's take yourself and your family members who are adolescents out of this, and think about whether a consent for vaccination for a pandemic like COVID or something else might actually, allowing kids of a certain age, say, let's still stick for 12 to 17, might be beneficial for moving the needle forward. Now, of course, this presents a conflict with parents or guardians. But I'd like to really focus on that, and you certainly use this article as the launching point for it. From a healthcare leadership perspective. So I'm asking you to put your healthcare leadership, either current or future, hat on. Take away your own, as much as possible, which is very hard, our own personal connection to it. And then I'd like you to really sort of engage maybe one or two other people in this as well. So hopefully my message on Blackboard will be a bit more clear. I do want this to go, I would like this to go until the 7th of August, then we'll end it there because I think it's a relevant topic. Okay, I hope I haven't confused anyone. In the meantime, if not, let me know through discussion board. I think you'll also know I have not weighed in on the discussion board yet. That's because I really wanted to read everyone's post, but I will weigh on this second round. All right. Thanks very much, folks. Bye.